What's good in the hood, people? Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Where am I getting that phrase from? What's good in the hood? What's good in the hood? Why do I think it's Friday with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube? I don't know. Anyway, what's good, people? All right, so obviously very recently we've heard, or the announcement's now been made, that the WBC have ordered the rematch between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. If I'm honest with you, I thought this was done ages ago. I can't lie to you. I actually thought this was done ages ago, but they've ordered it now, and I kind of wonder if it's because Eddie Hearn is trying to make a move on either one of these guys, right, to fight. And the WBC are like, no, we need to order that shit quickly. What's the nickname for the WBC? We Be Crooks. They are the most dodgiest sanctioning body ever. They'll try and pretend they're upright and clean and whiter than white. Fuck that, they are dodgy. Everything about that fight, everything about the aftermath of that fight for me is pretty dodgy. I can honestly, and I'm not even just trying to say this to be comical, I can honestly picture Al Heyman, Suleiman, Finkel, Frank Warren, who else was involved? Espinoza, Lou DiBella a bit, all around the table and saying, look, if this fight is close, we just do it again. If this fight is close, call it a draw, do it again. Yeah? Yeah? And everyone kind of just shaking on it, or no, not even shaking, touching glasses, like, yep, cheers. The fighters wouldn't obviously know that, but I can imagine everyone around the ring saying, let's just do it again. Nobody seemed unhappy about a draw. Normally you get one party, right? One party would be like, no one seemed unhappy about a draw. No one. Even Tyson Fury's in-ring interview, and it's difficult because fighters obviously sometimes don't score fights in the head, but even his in-ring interview didn't seem disappointed by a draw. After, where it's clear he's watched the fight, he was disappointed. Deontay Wilder wasn't disappointed with a draw. I mean, he's gone round after, you know, ranting on certain TV shows. He wasn't upset with a draw. It's funny how the WBC can order a rematch, right? They've got that much power in boxing, so they can order a fight to happen again. It's like, we're not happy with that decision that was made. We'll do that fight again because we think it should be done again. I always feel like that decision should be made with the State Athletic Commission. So whether that fight's in California, New York, Nevada, whatever, they should be the ones that say, you know what, we should do that again. Not a sanctioning body. And it's almost as though the WBC are doing this or showing this, like, look, we love boxing so much, we don't feel this decision was correct, that we want this fight to do it again. You know how many WBC sanctioned fights I've watched over the years when I've seen dodgy decisions and not even a peep about a rematch? Like, yeah, let's just move on. And the reason why they move on is because we're not making any sanctioning fees from this motherfucker. Let's move on. Well, obviously with Fury versus Wilder, there are millions of sanctioning fees to be made, hence why they're doing it again. I feel sorry, and again, this is contradicting what I'm saying because I'm happy the fight's going to be made because I think it will be a great fight. I think it actually will be as good as the first one, which was, for a lot of people, a top 5, top 10 fight of the year. So look, in a sense, I'm happy the fight's going to be made. That's a selfish point of view. But on the other hand, if I'm Deontay Wilder's mandatory, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So you had your mandatory against Stavern. I still don't know how Stavern was a mandatory when you think of he only had one fight after losing to Deontay Wilder, but he was a mandatory anyway. And then after that, he's had voluntary against Ortiz. He's had a voluntary, no matter what you call it. I know they've said it's not a voluntary because it's a limit. It still is a voluntary against Tyson Fury. And then another voluntary against Tyson Fury. He's had 3 voluntaries then. It doesn't happen in boxing. I mean, you compare it to someone like, who? Let's think of a boxer. Josh Warrington, IBF, right? So Josh Warrington won the IBF belt from Lee Selby. Had 1 voluntary. 1 against Carl Frampton. And IBF said, you know what? We're ordering you to have your mandatory against Kid Galahad. His dreams, and this is Josh Warrington, by the way, are to go to America, face the likes of Valdez, Gary Russell Jr., unification maybe with Leo Santa Cruz. And they said, nope, we're ordering you to have your mandatory. Whereas the WBC are like, yeah, you can have a couple more voluntaries if you like. We'll let you do that because you know what? Your fights make us a bit of change. Look, after all that talk, I'm still happy that the fight's going ahead. It was a great fight. It will be a great fight. I don't think either were begging for a rematch, and I have to admit this. I think Tyson Fury has come out and done some videos recently saying, look, Wilder, what's going on? But I don't think anyone was screaming for the rooftops about a rematch. I would have wanted Fury to maybe face someone else and then face Wilder in September, and obviously Wilder to face Joshua. That's what I'd prefer. Every time I see a fight, I've seen it. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean they can't be great fights. We've seen some fights over the years where the rematches, even trilogies, have been great. But now I've seen it, I do want to see other heavyweights get a chance. I wouldn't mind seeing Tyson Fury versus, I don't know, Pulev, Povetkin maybe. And Deontay Wilder face, if not Joshua, then face your mandatories. I mean, I don't think anyone would complain to see Dillian White versus Deontay Wilder, or give Dominic Breazeale his chance, right? He is mandatory. I mean, he's worked his way up there. People might say he's not fought who he's supposed to fight. That's irrelevant. He's worked his way up to a position where he's #1 ranked, and this guy's now waiting and waiting and waiting because the WBC are doing what the WBC do, which is basically anything they want. But guys, what do you make of it? What do you think in terms of when it goes down? We already are starting to get a kind of, I wouldn't say a packed calendar, but we already know we've got obviously Khan versus Crawford. What's that? April 20th. We should have Joshua April 13th. There is talk about Canelo versus GGG, which seems now more likely now. GGG signed with DAZN May 4th. And we've got this one, which probably will be squeezed somewhere in between this, whether it be before or after those dates. So we already are starting to get some big fight announcements. It is a big fight announcement. I don't know why rematches don't excite me as much. They should, because they always are quite good. I mean, GGG Canelo was good. But then you have ones like Kovalev versus Ward, which don't live up to the hype. But fingers crossed this does. Again, what does this mean for AJ? What does it mean for AJ, people? Who does he fight? What does it mean? That's 2 big names now ticked off. What does it mean for him? I don't know. I think it does mean one thing. Wembley gets scrapped. Ain't happening. No way, Jose. And you know what's funny about this, and I'm going on and on now, I'm doing commentary, so I'm doing the audio description at Wembley Stadium for that event, and I got an email saying, Anthony Joshua, April 13th, and I was like, do they know something? I don't know. And I remember emailed the company that got me the gig, and I was like, look, is Anthony Joshua even fighting? Like, you're asking me to come down and make sure I'm in the country. Is AJ even fighting? And they're like, they have absolutely no idea. So it's going to be interesting. But one thing I will say is that I feel like Wembley still will be used, but I don't think Anthony Joshua's fighting there.